Good morning, I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Well, let's start things off with a look at the forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Because Thomas, you're telling us about a little bit of rain and a little bit of snow that could be impacting us for later on today. I know, right?
Yeah, a little bit of snow so far this morning, but it's that snowfall that's going to have a hard time sticking to the ground. Really, if anything, it's just going to stick to the grass, and maybe the car is parked outside, if anything. It's that very wet and almost slushy-like snow. It's going to keep everything certainly wet across eastern Washington this morning. A little band of some dark blue moving through the West Plains as I zoom in over Reardon and Medical Lake. That is heading towards Airway Heights, so definitely will pick up in intensity, and it's that snowfall that will make you pretty wet overall if you're standing outside in it. But it's also making the road conditions wet with our temperatures above the freezing mark right now. So there it is, kind of centered over Spokane County. Light snow just drifting through downtown at the moment. I had just referenced that our temperatures are above freezing, and basically 34 is the key temperature there. So 2 degrees above the freezing mark is just enough to keep conditions wet as opposed to icy this morning. So not concerned about any severe road condition deterioration. Instead, later on tonight is when we're going to see mostly rainfall, but it could be snow for some. So still a wintry mix or a rain-snow mix in store for some later on this evening, with this primary wave of precipitation still yet to head our way.
Breaking news within the last couple of minutes, something to pass along for Lewiston residents. There is a boil water advisory, and this is because of a reservoir failure. All Lewiston residents are urged to boil their water for at least 3 minutes to disinfect it. At this time, we don't know when the boil water order will end, but we're of course following this very closely, and we'll let you know as soon as it does.
Today, Spokane Public Schools will discuss adding security cameras to Lewis and Clark High School's parking lot. Now, last May, we told you about a student who voiced her safety concerns about the parking lot under I-90. That student says that someone broke her window and poured soda into her gas tank, costing her thousands of dollars in damages. In October, the school installed a single security camera in the parking lot. They say that camera dropped break-ins to once every other week instead of every day.
I want to just see it completely stop, to where, again, none of our students and none of our staffs or visitors are worrying about or dealing with vehicle prowlers or their cars being vandalized or broken into.
The school board agenda says it will cost more than $322,000 to install 32 cameras for the parking lot.
Also at tonight's school board meeting, a discussion about the naming criteria for the new downtown stadium, which is set to open later this year. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones live in Spokane right now, tracking the progress. Brandon, you can see crews working there behind you. And Brandon, you actually had the chance to speak with the district superintendent about tonight's meeting. So is there a timeline on when a name will be announced?
Yeah, Tim, Channing, that's exactly right. You can hear those crews already getting to work early here in the morning, and the countdown has officially begun on what they'll eventually call this stadium that I'm currently standing in front of right now. At this moment, there are guidelines in place on how that name will officially come into fruition. A major part of those guidelines is that SPS will be working with its partner, the Spokane Public Facilities District, and each side will come together and mutually agree on the name. Tonight, those conversations begin during the board meeting. School officials believe this is another step closer to introducing what they hope will be a staple in the community for years to come.
Those school experiences, those events, the Friday night football games, the soccer games, coming together as a community, that is such a valuable and important part of a student's experience. So we're really eager to get kids into that stadium, get it going.
In the naming conversations, the school board will also outline some criteria to guide the conversations moving forward. So there's not a particular date where that name will be announced, but it's something that should be coming within the near future. So tonight's meeting will begin at 6 p.m. Reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
So it's time for your wake-up call. We're asking you this morning, what do you think the new stadium should be called, or who do you think it should be named after? We asked you this morning, and someone wrote in and said, why rename it? Keep it Joe Albee. It would have still been Joe Albee if it had stayed up near Shadle. Someone else saying that the stadium name should be the founder of the city of Spokane, the James Glover Stadium. So a lot of different responses, so keep texting in 509-448-2000, and we'll show it throughout the show. Spokane city leaders continue to push back against the state's proposed transportation budget. That budget would remove funding for the North Spokane corridor for the next 4 years. Last night, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward spoke during the state Senate Transportation Committee meeting. She argued delaying the project further would hurt the Spokane's economy.
This project is arguably the most important transportation link since Interstate 90 came through our city. It is critical infrastructure to Spokane. It would be a major blow to our economy.
We reached out to the state last week about this proposed budget. They told us they recognize how important this project is to the area, but the proposal is in the first step in the legislative process. Legislators will develop their own proposals for discussion in the current legislative session.